Story 1. The Masked Stranger. Halloween night in 2025 felt different in Oak Ridge. The town had grown quiet over the years, but families still decorated their porches with carved pumpkins and skeletons that glowed in neon lights. Teenagers roamed the streets in cheap masks, filling bags with candy. But for Claire, a young mother taking her daughter trick-or-treating, the night turned into something she would never forget. At first, everything was normal. They visited friendly neighbors, laughed at costumes, and admired the decorated yards. But Claire noticed a man following them at a distance. He wore a cracked porcelain mask and a tattered black hoodie. Unlike the other trick-or-treaters, he carried no bag, spoke to no one, and moved slowly. Always a few houses behind them. Claire dismissed it as a teenager pulling a prank. As the night went on, the man drew closer. At one point, Claire turned around to find him standing at the end of a driveway, watching. She gripped her daughter's hand tightly and hurried home. But when they reached their porch, the masked man was already there, sitting silently on the steps, his head tilted. Claire screamed, dragging her daughter inside and locking the door. The police arrived minutes later, but the man was gone. They chalked it up to Halloween mischief. But the next morning, Claire found muddy footprints leading from her front door to her daughter's bedroom window. The glass was scratched, as if someone had tried to pry it open. Neighbors reported seeing the same masked figure wandering the streets for nights afterward, but no one ever caught him. Claire still wonders if he had chosen her house for a reason. Story 2. The Abandoned School. Every Halloween, thrill-seeking friends dared each other to break into the old Stonebrook Elementary. The school had been shut down for years after a tragic fire, but locals claimed they still heard the voices of children echoing through the halls. In 2025, 4 college students accepted the dare, armed with only flashlights and phones to document their adventure. The building reeked of mildew, its walls covered in peeling paint and graffiti. As they explored, laughter echoed faintly through the halls. At first, they assumed it was other kids sneaking around. But when they shouted out, the laughter stopped instantly. Then came the sound of small footsteps running just ahead of them, too quick to follow. One of the students, Mark, swore he saw a child in a burnt school uniform standing at the end of the hallway. When he blinked, the figure was gone. They tried to leave, but the exit doors slammed shut, refusing to budge. Their flashlights flickered, and the air grew heavy with the smell of smoke. Then, faintly, they heard children singing an old nursery rhyme, distorted and slow. Terrified, they huddled in a corner until sunrise. When the doors finally opened on their own, they fled without looking back. Later, they discovered something chilling. Their phones had recorded everything. In the background of the videos, dozens of small charred hands could be seen reaching from the walls, brushing against their shoulders, even tugging at their clothes. They never returned to Stonebrook, and to this day, the school remains locked behind a chain-link fence, untouched but not forgotten. Story 3. The House That Wasn't Empty. On Halloween night in 2025, a group of children trick-or-treated along Maple Drive, where one particular house stood out. It was run down, the yard overgrown, the windows boarded. No one had lived there in years, yet that night the porch light was on and a plastic jack-o'-lantern flickered by the door. Curious, the kids knocked. The door creaked open by itself. Inside, bowls of candy were neatly arranged on a dusty table. The kids laughed, thinking it was a clever prank by someone in town. But when one of them reached for the candy, the door slammed shut behind them. The house grew unbearably cold. Shadows shifted across the walls, moving without light. The children screamed and banged on the door, but it wouldn't open. Parents searching for them later claimed to hear faint cries from inside, but when they broke in, the house was completely empty. Only the jack-o'-lantern remained, its grin glowing brighter than before. Days later, the missing children's costumes were found scattered across the upstairs rooms, neatly laid out as if displayed. Kids were never seen again. Neighbors swear the house is alive, appearing normal only on Halloween, luring new victims inside with promises of candy. Each year since, someone has gone missing on Maple Drive, and each year, that jack-o'-lantern glows on the porch, waiting with a grin too wide to belong to plastic.